before Hercules, and we're looking at, let's just say we're looking at volume in relation to what price is doing, it's impossible for us to discriminate how much of that volume, number one, is buying and how much is selling, except that we see which way price is going, so we can kind of divine it. So then Hercules is basically telling us, what that ratio might be. In other words, the weakness of one pair is that nobody's buying it. And you see what I mean? Or I'm sorry, yeah, that they're selling that.
Oh,
maybe I'm not making myself clear, but
no,
in other words,
I was waiting
how
for
much
a question,
of the
but you're giving me
volume
an
I'm
example.
looking at is selling, and how much is buying? Especially if price is just sitting there, and you see volume going up. Something's about to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
It's a lot like volume in that. And what I mean by that is you have to see. So, for example, when the market's been moving up for a while, and you all of a sudden see a big volume spike, that's where I want to watch, because the market's either going to keep going,
right. Is it about to turn,
or it's going to turn.
Right.
And Hercules operates in the same way, where if you see that there's one currency pair is really strong, the other currency pair is weak, well, there's opportunity there. So with what we're getting to with the actual system are ways to identify buying opportunities. So you're not just looking at Hercules and seeing at or above 7, at or below 2, and then clicking buy.
Yeah, you wait for some confirmation.
Yeah, we get into filtering techniques.
And the other question I had about volume is volume measuring simply the sheer number of orders, irrespective of the dollar amount of those orders, or is it measuring the dollar amounts of the orders? Do you see what I mean? In other words, lots of small orders or a couple of huge orders?
Yeah,
you're not
going to see that. In the Forex market, what you're looking at are lots traded. So if you see a volume of 64, then you know 64 lots traded. Whereas if you were looking at IBM, it would tell you they traded 536,212 shares. That's the big difference. So, there's no real easy way to equate it into dollars.
Yeah.
And also, when you're looking at, say, for example, MetaTrader, you're only looking at that broker's volume. You're not looking at the entire Forex market.
Okay.
And there's a big difference.
Yeah, that's something I've never heard before.
But you can still glean the same types of information. Is the market going to follow through? Are we getting a volume spike in this area? Because the market is demonstrating that activity has suddenly picked up. And that burst of activity either means guys like me are out there trying to eat each other's lunch, or you've got the other guy coming in and beginning his operations.
It sounds like you have to wait for some confirmation to find out, let's say it's going up and there's a pause, and then, are they just piling up sell orders to, they're just waiting to release them and...
Yeah, and that's the waiting. And that's why I like to bracket the market, where I've got a buy order, I've got a sell order, actually vice versa, I've got a buy order and a sell order, because I don't know which way the market's going to go. That's what most people want, though, and most studies that you see in the market are they're going after a line or something on the chart which will say, this green light means that they're buying, and it's big buying. And there's stuff that gets close. Market delta is one. Pete Stottlemyre's market profile is another. But even with those, there's some ambiguity, meaning it's not a certainty. But it's fairly close. In fact, some of what's built into the trend following to win trading system are some of those concepts, where as a discretionary trader, when I'm looking at the market, I kind of get a snapshot, right? So I'm looking at the chart, I get a snapshot, and then my brain does all these comparisons and takes all of my history and looks at that, and well, this happened when you did this. Computers would try and do it with the neural network. Basically, they're just comparing a bunch of past experiences and trying to say, based on all this past experience, this has happened. But don't we all edit and change our past, so it's not really reliable. So that's why we try and go into a computer, say, based on how this market looked, what happened afterwards? So with the trend following to win system, what it's doing is looking at multiple time frames, taking some basic elements of how the market works, meaning over time, you'll see, well, let's back up. What we were just talking about was one point in time, now. So right now, if we're looking at the market and we see a bunch of volume going in, we don't really know what's going on. Okay, we don't know that it's buying or selling. But over time, if the market starts going up, if there are shallow retracements, we start seeing flags and pennants. Now we're starting to see some order come into the market out of the chaos, the disorder, if you will. So that's when I will come in and say, okay, there's some opportunity here. I just don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do with that system is distill all of that into, here's an opportunity, here's where to get out.
It just sounds like Hercules is a way to help us sort of get a feel for what volume, it just helps refine what volume is telling us. So
right, it will, because Hercules is going to tell you what volume is doing and where in price.
Yeah.
And that's, as a pro, that's when you're looking at level 2 and you're looking at the markets, that's really what you're doing, is you're seeing as the orders are coming in, are they staying high, or are they, they going in the slots at the top, or are they going in the slots at the bottom?
A couple minor things with Hercules I wouldn't mind seeing is the scale of 1 to 10, if you could have it on the right side.
Okay.
And the dark blue is hard to see the black and the blue.
So is that yellow, man. I mean, what was Chris
thinking
with that?
Yeah, that one too.
Every time I see that thing, I just want to smack the guy. Yeah. So yeah, those are the aesthetics are going to be changed, most definitely. I mean, some of those lines, I'm even squinting at the chart. So, okay, I'm getting the red light. So lunchtime, we'll have 90 minutes. Okay, let's look at
So
what we'll do is we're going to be talking about the Hercules FX system. We're going to talk some more about decision support, and then we'll also talk a bit about the clear-cut science process, really just the way that the wealthy people that I have known have done things differently. Specifically with action plans. What have they done to make sure that things get done? And as you grow in that, in the beginning stages, you're going to have access to some very easy-to-use tools that'll sit on your desk or you can take with you in a binder. In fact, I've got examples that I use. But that system is designed to change and evolve with how you like to do it. The way I use it even now is different than, I think, 2 years ago when I really codified it and put it down just because I had clients that were requesting it. So it is very flexible, it's very configurable, and it's designed to make sure that you stay on track. Because what I've found is the hardest part of success, we talked about 80% of it was showing up. Well, the hard part is to keep showing up. If all you have to do is get there, well, I'd just like to get there some days. So the problem is, how do we keep getting there? How do we get there every day? And how do we have a system that we can trust where we know, even if I didn't get there today, tomorrow, everything is set up so I have an easy way of accessing getting there. And if you mess up that day, okay, well, the next day I still have access so you can get yourself back on track and not get overwhelmed. So let's talk about that a little bit. You're going to have a lot of information here. Both that I'm giving you, that Cecil's going to give you, a lot of things to record. The reason why I think it's critical for you to have these kinds of systems that you can use, put on your desk, refer back to them, is so you don't lose track. The last thing that I like to do is to go to an event like this, and I still go to them, and then wake up 6 months later and remember, wow, I went to an event a few months ago and nothing happened. I don't want that to happen. And so this system will help to bring that back on track. Is that good for everybody? Yeah. Okay. So I think we left off talking about beating your brains out, didn't we?